All right, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
So this is a post-storm reflection, our experience of going through the storm and the aftermath. I guess a hurricane of this magnitude is really rare in Central Florida.
Yeah,
so
for this area, it was a once-in-a-lifetime situation.
it was intense. So
Yeah.
we're going to go through our full experience from the beginning to the end, and then we're going to get on to the Disney thing after this.
Yeah.
So.
Right back to business.
We're starting to feel a little better.
Yeah.
The sickness ran through the whole family.
Yeah.
Now Zach he's homesick today
Yep.
with it. So
Everyone's
hopefully
had
after
their
him.
turn. Yeah, that should be done.
As long as the dog doesn't get it, we're good to go.
that won't happen.
Yeah.
We were waiting for the storm. We were basically watching the Weather Channel, like all the weather stations all day, because who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
While you're sitting here, and I was kind of.
I was glued to the TV,
You
by the
were.
way.
I was baking.
Pretty
I was
much
kind
24
of like,
hours straight.
I was kind of like making up the different gluten-free recipes with the kids and trying to stay busy with that. So we baked. So we had some goodies for when the power went out because we knew that was coming.
Essentials.
Yeah. Basics. Well, something fun to do too because we couldn't go
Yeah,
outside. But
exactly.
but what was interesting about the weather initially, like in the afternoon, early evening, is we had tons of tornado watches in this area and in different areas, and all the weather people were saying that that's not typical for hurricanes. So there was a really large amount of that happening. So we were initially just thinking about dealing with that possibility.
I felt like we were dodging bullets there. So it was around 10:30, and the wind started picking up, and just enough where the power went out. I mean, it went out really early because it was only windy for like an hour before that.
Yeah.
And I think it just took just the right amount of wind to knock a tree down by the lake, and that's what hit the power line. And we pretty much lost power at that point.
Yes.
So that was the scary thing because we had no power. Nothing to distract us. The house was completely
pitch black.
Quiet.
Also pitch black because of the way the sky was.
The winds really started picking up, and I was like literally watching out the window at what was taking place, and there were some gusts. I'm like, wow, like there's windy, and then there's hurricane force.
Yeah.
I know we said that we were going to include some shorts as the system was coming through, but yeah, we lost power. We didn't have any internet or anything, so we weren't able to do that, but I'm going to include it in this video. I'll show you a little bit of that right now.
Yeah. You were out in the kitchen watching, and I was too stressed out. I went into my room, and I was naively thinking, oh, I'll be able to fall asleep, which I was not able to do because my instinct was just to like run to the kids' room, but they were asleep, so I didn't want them to wake. I wanted them to sleep the whole thing, but the mom in me wanted to be like right there. So I really did not sleep well. So I was listening to what was happening outside, but I didn't want to look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
You could definitely hear it because as the rain picked up and the wind picked up, the wind was pushing the rain against the windows, and I couldn't believe how loud it was. It almost sounded like a pressure washer hitting the windows.
On
Caleb's window.
It was intense.
It really was.
What was really interesting, I had never heard of this before, but in the thick of the storm, between like 2 and 4, I think was probably the worst parts of it, my bones and joints were aching. I felt it was hurting, and I was like, is this part of the storm? And after waking and talking to a lot of our neighbors, they're like, yeah, it's the barometric pressure that causes you to feel really achy and everything. You feel kind of like sick, and but I'd never heard of that before. Yeah.
So I stayed up until around 12:30, and I'm like, oh, I'll just lie down for a few minutes and I'll get back out, because my plan was to stay up all night and watch the storm. Just to make sure everything was safe. Everybody was in bed and where they were supposed to be, because we put the kids in the middle of the house in a den area. Yeah. So they didn't have any windows or anything, and that was our biggest concern, the windows. So I lied down and I was out. Yeah. Until I think around 6 o'clock in the morning.
You slept that whole time.
I don't know how I fell asleep.
I don't know you did either. I was the whole night.
I must have been really tired. That's saying something.
I was kind of like in and out all night long because of the sounds. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know, how would a mom sleep through that really? I
Right.
mean, who can? Winnie slept through the whole storm. She conked right
She
out.
did.
She did so well. I don't know if it was just like, do dogs sense that and they just like clock out, or was she just tired from the?
Some of the neighbors' dogs were up all night.
Oh, okay.
They were nervous. I know our neighbor's cat.
They were
a little upset
spazzing
that
out.
night.
Yeah,
so.
it makes sense. They're so sensitive. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she was able to sleep, because the other question was, where are we gonna? We were gonna have to let her out to go to the bathroom in like the garage or something. You know, you have to get really creative in these situations.
Your
Well,
concern was if you open the door when it's high winds that the roof is going to
the pressure.
blow out.
Yeah, well, you can't in the high winds. I mean, that would be crazy to.
Right.
She wouldn't have gone out to use the bathroom at that point,
No.
anyways. I wouldn't have put her out.
Especially with the rain.
Yeah.
Rain. It was raining so hard. I've never seen rain like it.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a boat in the middle of the Arctic Ocean or something. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
If you guys have watched like Deadliest Catch, some of the crazy storms that they're in the middle of,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it felt like that.
Yeah.
It felt like we were in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, you do feel kind of out at sea. That's like
Yeah,
a
you do.
good analogy, the feeling of it, because you're hunkered down and like, but you hear all this chaos going on
Yeah.
outside your window. It's
Exactly.
a very strange feeling.
But this house, I have to say, this
Yeah.
house felt really solid to me.
Yeah, it did.
Even, you know, when it was really getting windy before I went to bed,
Yeah.
I didn't hear any creaks, no noise
Yeah.
whatsoever.
And we
I mean,
have
we heard
solar-
the weather outside, but the house itself
Yes.
was like really
It
quiet.
felt really solid, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't lose any roofing material or anything.
Yeah.
So
Some of
that-
the neighbors did up
Yes,
the hill.
further up the hill, yeah.
But yeah, I think we did pretty well for what it was.
Yeah.
We drained the pool. We couldn't drain it below the
pump.
skimmer
Yeah,
because the pump would have nothing to
circulate.
take in, and it would
Yeah.
overheat the pump. So I just wanted to make sure it was above the minimum line. And we woke up in the morning and it didn't look like the pool was filled as much as what the forecast said we got. They said we got about a foot, which I think we did
Yeah.
based on the pond behind our house. But
Yeah.
I think because of the rain going sideways,
It
it
didn't
wasn't
all-
collecting in the pool.
Yeah.
So, but it was actually at the perfect level when we woke up. So that was good.
Yeah.
Pool was dirty. We'll show you some video here of what the pool looks like.
Yeah.
We had one of the little decorative palm trees fall over.
Half of it. It was like a 2 for
Yeah.
tree, and one half fell down.
And that's what that looks like.
Yep.
Some of the mulch that was against the house blew out, so it just goes to show the power of the wind
Yeah.
hitting the house and pushing that mulch away onto the grass.
But it's very interesting because like we live in a hilly area, and we're kind of at the bottom of a really long hill in our neighborhood, and the top of the neighborhood, we were walking up there last night actually, and you could see like that area, the fences on those properties are just kaput.
Destroyed.
And some of the roofing, like the shingles in that area, so they get a lot more, they took a brunt of the wind, whereas down here
Yeah.
it's more like a valley area. It wasn't as bad, but you're worrying a little more about the water down here, but not to the point where the drainage
Yeah.
seems really sufficient where we
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah, we lucked out. It wasn't even on my radar when we were looking at the house.
I know.
We just happen to really like the house and
Yeah.
the yard and everything.
Yeah, the
but
view and everything.
Yeah, the drainage is really good here,
It
so
is.
that's good.
Yeah.
We were talking to people after the storm, neighbors and stuff, people that had been here for a while, and they said this was the worst storm that they've ever seen.
Yeah, and it was the one they were all most worried about too, based
Correct.
on all of the information that was coming in.
Yeah.
And that was our experience too, talking to people like at the grocery store, people who have lived here a long time. They were worried about
They
this
were
one,
worried.
and rightfully so, because in certain areas it was really awful. So my other big concern when we woke up in the morning was being able to reach out to our families and friends to let them know that we were okay. So
Yeah.
I was texting my mom and my sisters and your family and some of my friends, and texts were going out, but nothing was coming back in. So I wasn't sure if they were, it looked like the texts were going out, but you couldn't be too sure. I couldn't make any phone calls. Nothing was going through. But we realized we got into the Tesla, and we were able to log into email through the Tesla, and so I was able to email my mom, and we were
Yeah.
able to watch the news in there as well, like
Right.
and see what was happening, where the
Yeah.
storm was and everything. So it was like, oh, thank goodness.
And it was basically like a slumber party in the
Yeah.
in the car all day.
Yeah.
Air conditioning,
Yeah,
TV, YouTube.
yeah, they were able to play some games.
You know,
like,
we would use it for what we needed at
we
at
charged
times,
our
but
phones in there.
It was great.
Yeah.
It worked out really
It
well.
really did. I mean, we've really enjoyed that, but that was next level. Thank
Yeah.
goodness, you know,
Yeah.
that we were able to, because that was the biggest deal. I was feeling really guilty that I couldn't get a hold of anybody.
Yeah.
And then even the phones for the next couple of days,
Spotty.
calls would come in and then they would drop, or you couldn't hear them. So the communication-wise, it's tricky. So.
Yeah. Took a couple days for things to be back to normal, I think.
Yeah,
or
I
at
wasn't
least
able to talk to my
normal-ish.
mom on a normal phone call until Friday.
Okay.
And that was good because they were leaving on a
Right,
trip,
exactly.
and so it was nice to be able to
Touch base
with
before that.
them. Yeah, so
But yeah, so the next day was mostly just clean up. I left the stuff in the freezer, hoping it would come up back on that day.
yeah,
But I moved a bunch of the stuff from the fridge into the cooler. Thank God we got the cooler.
Yeah.
That worked out well. We had ice that we froze ahead of time, so
Yeah.
that was good. And we were kind of like just eating as much as we could.
yeah. We were grilling.
You know,
the
stuff
grill.
that we needed to eat right away.
Thank goodness for grills and propane.
Grill
That
was perfect.
Yeah, we got our coffee. Did you
Made
show
our-
that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
So
you
here's
should-
some footage of me
breakfast.
making breakfast,
Yeah.
making fried eggs this morning. This is how we're rolling. It's working out pretty well. We got our coffee
Yeah,
and our breakfast.
yeah. We both have our
Cheers.
Disney mugs. Fitting.
Yeah. The first thing I did was make coffee, and
Yeah.
I forgot to get the propane tank filled, like the secondary one.
didn't
And
know
most normal people would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to waste the propane on coffee." No,
Yeah,
not I.
yeah.
That was first priority
Yeah,
in the
well, we were
morning.
so
I was
tired.
pretty tired.
Yeah.
I needed my coffee, needed my fix. We were hoping to get the electricity back. It did not come back. It actually didn't come back until
It was like
I think
1:30 in the morning.
the following night.
Yeah, 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. So we went through 2 days with no power.
Yep.
I was getting a little worried because I did have to figure out what was happening with the frozen items in the freezer because they were starting to thaw out,
yeah.
obviously. So you went out and got ice, some more ice, filled up another cooler, took all that frozen stuff, put it in the cooler.
Yeah.
And we just used it up as quick
Yeah.
as possible.
Yep.
So we did a lot of grilling, used
Yep.
up a lot of the meats. And we didn't really lose a whole lot of food.
No, it was kind of like a good time to clean out the freezer.
It was. Exactly.
To get to the bottom of things.
You need that because
Yeah.
there's so many times I'll take something we didn't finish, some leftover, pop it in the freezer, you forget about it
Yeah.
until a year later,
Yeah,
and
and then you're
it's
like, oh
not
gosh,
good anymore.
freezer
So,
burn, yeah.
so we were able to clean it out and start from scratch a little bit more.
Also, I didn't realize this, but I'm pretty sure that the government does issue some money to people for if you've lost a lot of items in your freezer or whatever. They will.
Yeah, I think they pay you
They
per
pay-
day or something. Like
Yeah,
however
however
many
long
days
you-
you lost electricity.
Yeah. So that's good to know.
We didn't have to utilize that. So
Yeah, but it's good to know moving forward. Or if
Yeah,
if you didn't know, now you know.
exactly.
If downtown had it, with power was out for quite a while.
Yeah.
But thank goodness for the people. I was really thinking a lot of the power companies and the people working to restore the power, and just all the rescue workers and everybody. How important that
I know.
is, and I'm just really grateful that people are out there doing that kind of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean, there was a lot of power lines down, a lot of street lights, I guess, had to be fixed before they could even get the trucks in to fix the power lines.
Yeah.
So that was I think part of the delay.
Yeah, we heard a lot of chainsaws
Yeah,
right off the bat.
cutting the trees
Yeah.
off. Yeah,
Also, the birds. It was funny. The birds were gone for a couple of days. Right before the day before the storm, we were outside
Yeah, it was
cleaning
quiet.
up, and we're like, wow, it's really quiet. We realized, oh, the birds are gone.
they
Not
must.
all
They
of them.
must know.
Some of the bigger ones, those large cranes, I forget what
They
they're
hung
called.
around.
They were still around, and they sound like pterodactyls when
Yeah.
they fly.
Oh, yeah, it's it's crazy. It's like a dinosaur.
Yeah. So they stuck around, but we didn't see many of the smaller birds or anything, but they came back about a day and a half later. We started to see them back again.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting to see, like, just Mother Nature and everything going down. It's like, it's pretty intense.
It is.
Yeah.
The last hurricane we've been through, probably you too, up in New Hampshire, Hurricane Bob. That was the last one. I think that hit what, in like the 90s, early 90s, or late 80s?
I don't know.
Think early 90s. And that was like 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a whole lot of hurricanes up north.
We did experience a microburst in our neighborhood.
That's right.
Let's see, it was like probably about, when we lived in New Hampshire, about 6 or 7 years ago. I was pregnant with Grace.
Yeah.
So it must have been 7 years ago. But it was just like I don't know if you experienced a microburst, but
It's like a tornado.
like a tornado that just pops up. And Zach and I were in the basement looking out in the backyard, and we saw the wind start pick up. We're like, oh, we were just kind of watching the storm. And then all of a sudden it took a turn and really whipped up. And I realized I had to go all the way to the 3rd floor of the house to get Caleb out of his nap, because we had a lot of big trees in that area near the bedroom. So I had to scoot up there. And by the time I got to his room, the storm was done. But it took down like huge trees. You couldn't get home for like a good hour.
The road was blocked.
Yeah, on multiple locations.
You're talking like
Huge.
20, 30 trees in a small amount of area.
Totally uprooted.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So you do get storms everywhere.
Yeah.
The likelihood of getting hurricanes down here is obviously a little higher because, I mean, it's a peninsula. Like we're literally in the middle of the ocean.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm hoping we don't get a storm that big ever again, because that was, it was a little terrifying. But,
Yeah. To be honest.
yeah. But honestly, like, it brought in a lot of the cool air. So it's been really cool here ever since.
That's the weirdest thing. It's like the days following, the weather's been beautiful. So to experience like the extremes of the weather and Mother Nature and everything, it's very interesting. But yeah, the weather, it's like beautiful.
It really is.
Florida fall weather here.
So in any event, I think that's all we have. We just wanted to, keep you guys up to date.
Yep.
On our experience, and let you guys know where we've been. It's been just a lot of getting things back to normal here.
Yeah.
Recovering from illness.
I didn't realize it was going to be such a week. It was like really the whole week. It was, yeah. When they said they had school off for all that time, I was like, they're going to need, and I was thinking, they're really going to need all that, but we really did. Like, and the area surrounding us really did to get things back to normal. So anyway.
So looking forward to getting back into Disney again. I miss it. I really do. It's weird not going in.
I know.
Because we're so used to it's just part of our life. You know? And I'm looking forward to getting back in the parks and hit up some of the restaurants again.
Yep.
So you can look forward to that in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, so you can keep up to date with all our videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our little home video here.
Thank you for everyone and thank you for everyone that reached out to check in on us too. That was really nice. So we felt the love there. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys. We love all of you, and we'll see you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.